Okay. All right, Mark. We're pretty much set up here. Um, I guess the first question I was going to ask you is,
Okay.
let's see. As far as your background, I know that you are the creator of Vampire the Masquerade. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
And World of Darkness, and Werewolf the Apocalypse, Wraith the Oblivion, and Changeling the Dreaming.
So I guess I'll put you on the spot here. And which one of those was your favorite setting to work in?
I mean, obviously Vampire. I mean, normally people ask me about what's your favorite clan or your favorite tribe or whatever. I'll say I can't pick between my children, but in this case, Vampire was the first. Vampire was the big seminal moment in my life, and Vampire is still the most popular by far. And also for me, just vampires were and are a whole lot of fun, and to see them take off in pop culture the way they have has just been so enormously gratifying.
So now,
Hello?
yeah, I was thinking. Okay, so I don't know. Now I almost want to
Hello?
ask you about your. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, you can hear me. Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right. So what I was gonna ask you is, what?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What I was gonna ask you is, what's your, I guess what would you do differently if you could with the with the settings that you've worked on?
Well, gosh, I mean, if I redid them, I wouldn't really change like anything too obvious, like the names of clans or anything like that. What I would do is I would do a whole bunch of very subtle changes that, when taken together, would make it a completely different feel, but that no one would feel that anything that they loved, especially, had changed all that much. And I think that's sort of the best way to kind of do something is to make these so many subtle little changes that you don't really notice, but yet it creates this new texture, this new mood.
So when the decision was made to basically end all the games, what were your feelings about that?
To you mean to end the story,
Yeah, to end the story.
or you mean that to stop publishing it for what?
Well, no,
Oh,
no.
that story. Yeah, I mean, part of me is like, wow, that's great. That's something brand new. End the story. Uh, sorry.
Um, you cut off there for a minute. You were saying that part of you was it was great and brand new to end the story, and then I didn't get a response.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Part of it is great to end the story, and then at the same time, though, I think it kind of left a lot of gamers feeling kind of in the lurch, like, oh, oh, wait a minute, what happens now? I can't play her anymore. I think in the end, the great thing about role playing is you want to create a setting that's kind of open ended, and you keep adding on to it, but you don't really want to end it or change it too much all at once. You want to sort of make it so that people's materials they've already bought don't go kind of out of date. Now maybe they get supplanted by something better, but they shouldn't really go out of date. At the same time, I think the world needs to have change, and there needs to be things that happen, and so obviously Vampire, was a product of its time. In the initial book, there were no, there were there wasn't really the internet the way it is today. You didn't have these smartphones. It was a different time, so you got to keep up with the times, obviously.
Do you think that it would have worked better if what they would have done is kind of made generational settings as opposed to closing out the story, so that it'd be like different supplements, something along that lines?
Yeah, I mean, it's just. As a game designer, it's really tempting to do like a big thing, and just change everything and do a big destructive end of this, of the times type thing. But in the end, I think it's far better to threaten it than do it. I mean, that's the whole idea of Call of Cthulhu, isn't it? I mean, to threaten the end of days, but it never actually comes. Because if it did, it wouldn't be much fun to play in, would it?
Right, because like just
And that's the
Cthulhu.
whole idea of, I am zombie. That go ahead.
I was saying, yeah, because then you have just Cthulhu's monster or Cthulhu just running you, and then you don't really have anything else you're doing at that point. So.
Yeah, yeah, and like with I Am Zombie coming up tomorrow, the whole idea is that the final outbreak is coming, the big one, the apocalypse, but it hasn't come yet. And all these zombie movies are always about after the apocalypse, and I think that's is a little two dimensional for a setting, at least for a role playing setting. You want many levels, and simply being survivors shooting zombies, that's just not enough for a game. But putting it just before the final outbreak, and that final outbreak never coming, now then you've got some juice. And that's the same way I feel with Call of Cthulhu, and that's the same way I feel with the World of Darkness. Set it just before the end times, but don't actually get there. If you get there, you've gone a step too far.
That makes sense. So why don't you tell me a little bit about I Am Zombie, your new project?
Well, you asked. I Am Zombie is basically just just the best thing I've ever done. I'm really excited. This is going to be an amazing series of games. I Am Zombie is just the first, but I Am Zombie, like Vampire, is definitely going to be the one with, if not the most juice, certainly it's going to be hard to imagine one that has the same amount of juice. It's just been so much fun to sort of, once again take a monster that everyone kind of forgot. And last time it was zombie, vampires and werewolves. No one thought they were that interesting. They're really boring. And then sort of really pushing it and really coming up with, well, what makes a zombie sexy? What makes a zombie interesting? How can a zombie be conscious? And answer these questions in a way that creates this incredibly complex and rich setting that where there are a million possible stories, and that's how you've done a good job as a game role-playing game designer, is that if there's a million stories flowing through your head, then you've done well.
Okay. Will I Am Zombie have a LARP component, or will it just be a tabletop game?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, eventually it will. Initially, it won't. I find that it's much smarter to begin narrowly and not promise everyone to everything. And I just haven't had enough time to do the LARP part of it. However, we've done enough LARPing with the character cards that I know it's going to work. It's just a matter of that we're focusing on the tabletop rules initially, and then we'll add in more axioms. The game system is called Axiom System, so you can sort of as a game master, as a narrator, you can add and subtract axioms, whichever ones you want, to create your own unique style. But we'll have live action axioms later in a different book. Once they can be fully play tested in groups ranging from 10 people to, which, as you can imagine, is complicated play testing.
Well, it sounds
Very
really...
complicated. And actually, one thing I should explain is that this game is just.
Could you repeat that last part? It ended up cutting off. Sorry about that.
It's not equipment cards with it. It's your tree. And your character cards, then you have people cards, and when all your cards that perfect people get healed. So yeah, it's a whole different thing. The idea is to make it so that all those people who won't role play with us because they look at a photocopied character sheet and don't see anything in it. It looks, like Chinese to them, gibberish, and who certainly don't want to spend the whole game session making a character or even 20 minutes. In this game, you can just sort of hand them a bunch of cards and say, hey, pick 7 of these cards. And then boom, a minute later, they're playing the game.
Nice. So, I know you're going to be starting this Kickstarter tomorrow. How much is your initial pledge that you're asking for?
I think the initial pledge is, let me check. We got one for $10. You got a PDFs of all the playtest materials. $20 gets you playtest, all the PDFs of the playtest, and the final copies of everything. The book, the character cards, and the bump chips. So $20, and then no matter where you live in the world, you can chip in and get pretty much everything you need to play.
Wow, that's.
Of course, we're hoping people actually.
What is your funding goal?
Yeah. Which is basically what I need. It's the minimum, It's just so much art. Unlike most Kickstarters, I actually have done the art ahead of time. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Put a lot of time and money into it. I'm crazy that way. I just don't understand how people can buy a game and not know what's in it. So we have a ton of art, and of course the final game has a ton of art. And art's really, really expensive. I mean, people forget that at White Wolf, I had a bigger art budget than I had a word budget, and that's just the way it is. Great art is expensive, and but you gotta have it. That's what I think really creates a great setting.
That sounds really cool. What is, if you don't mind, could you give us a story synopsis of the game, or?
Yeah, the idea is that you are the 1 in 10,000. Most people, when there's an outbreak, or just get infected because they come in contact with someone that doesn't have to be an outbreak, are skags. They're the mindless zombies you see in the movies, and they're killed off or whatever. But some zombies have brains. They're the zombie masters. We call them the toxic, and you're special. You're not just a stumbling feeding machine. You're cognizant. You're a master of death. More importantly, you're a zombie master. You control those skags. But life is tough. I mean, the government knows about you and is trying to crack down on things, and they're sort of building these quarantines in different cities where they're trying to contain you within the cities, unbeknownst to people in the cities. So, it's the more run down, low class cities are where they're trying to do this. So, trying to keep the the zombies out of New York and in Jersey City. You know, so it's a harsh world, but the cool thing is that you're in the cycle of being really zombie like. After you engage in violence and do fun stuff, you kind of flip over those cards to your zombie side. But after Purges, which is once a month festival of cleansing, for a couple days or even longer, if you're careful, you kind of are a rock star. You're the best possible you. You're beautiful. You're glowing, and you get to sort of have a lot of fun. But then, and gradually, inevitably, you get in trouble. You do stuff, and you get beaten once. So it's this gruesome life cycle.
Well, that sounds really cool, actually. One of the places that I first saw you as a link on your TED Talk, and I know that like this, like our content site and we're really into education, and I noticed that you had a lot to say about that in your TED Talk, which really got my attention in the first place. So, like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean that's a big deal to me. I think gaming. Go ahead.
Yeah, you cut off. If you could repeat yourself, that'd be good.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I just think gaming is one of the most unique and wonderful things out there. I think role playing is a very unique and special part of gaming, and the world needs to use games in a context of not this is how we market to people, manipulate them into buying our products, but hey, games are how you not only motivate people in learning things, but games are how you, teach things in a better way. I mean, I personally know that I was failing in school and in junior high school and just not interested in anything, just falling behind in everything. And then after playing D&D, within a matter of months, I was a math whiz. I shot ahead 4 grades. I just became a learning machine because I love games. I want to figure everything out. And it really challenged me. And a game is the perfect conduit for learning something because you're not stressed out by failing and you're not stressed out by having to learn another person's way. When you're playing a game, you're learning your way. You're learning by doing. And learning by doing is the best way to learn. Games are ideal in this way. And yet, they're relegated to the dustbins and the back corners of the big box stores, Games just aren't respected. Even computer games, which are not nearly as good as role-playing and board games, even they, which still have some value, of course, even they aren't valued. And they're everywhere. It's a tragedy. And I want to turn that around.
I was looking at an email the other day, and this morning. I don't know why I said the other day. And there was a teacher that was teaching geography by using zombies. Actually, I guess they're trying to kickstart themselves. I thought that was really interesting. That basically core standards through a kind of a zombie role playing game type thing. Thought that was interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it's cool that schools are accepting of zombies. I mean, back in the day, no way could you have vampires in school, and now it's changed quite a bit. And now schools can accept this, which is great because students don't want to do a role playing game about George Washington and the founding fathers. I mean, I would actually find it interesting a little bit, but I think most students would find that boring. But I think you can teach a whole lot about zombies, infection and health. Why you don't want to get diseases and maybe why you want to get immunized. sort of social ostracism and being an outcast and what that's like. The history of lepers and the history of diseased people being quarantined. I mean, there's so many different things that you can use zombies to teach, and that's not all. I mean, my game Democracy also is a great thing, and I think there's so many different games that are just perfect at teaching. Giselle, I'm on an interview, okay? Giselle, I'm on an interview. Guys. Guys, please. Can't stay away. Giselle, you gotta leave, okay? Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you for your time, and that's gonna be, I Am Zombie, and that's launching tomorrow on Kickstarter. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
You got it. Thank you very much. No, that's it. I just give it a read. If you're not that interested, give it a read over. I think you might be pleasantly surprised by the art and the ideas you see there. There's just too much to get into now, but we've been working full time on this thing for many months, and I'm pretty proud of it.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.